Hello, everybody, and welcome back. We have King and Queen of the Ring tournament brackets officially out. And an interesting thing is this year we have fatal four-way matches, no singles matches. So that's going to kind of condense the tournament a bit. Pretty interesting to see. We kick it off in King of the Ring with Penta versus Obafemi versus Solo Sikoa versus Carmelo Hayes. I think it is a no-brainer that Obafemi, absolute beast, takes the win in this match. And then we have Dominic Mysterio versus Braun Breaker versus Trick Williams versus Damian Priest. I have been going back and forth between Dom and Braun so much. I really don't think Trick or Damian are going to get it done. But, I gotta say, here's the thing. I don't know if Dom is going to cheat. And one factor could be that Braun is the tag team champion now that Logan Paul is hurt, one half the tag team champions. So, could they defend those titles at Night Champions? I don't know. Braun going on in the King of the Ring would obviously not help that. But I've still got to say, Braun Breaker moves on. Then we have Seth Rollins versus Javon Evans versus Tala Tonga versus Ricky Saints. I think Javon will put up a great fight in this match, but Seth Rollins is going to take the win. Then we have Jey Uso versus LA Knight versus Royce Keys versus Finn Balor. As much as I want to say Balor moves on here, I feel like Jey Uso, unhinged bloodline type version now of Jey Uso, is just going to go insane on everybody and move on. So then we got Obafemi versus Braun Breaker. What a match. I think Oba moves on here, though, honestly. Like I said, Obafemi, the beast, the sheer power, he's got to go to the finals of the King of the Ring tournament. And then you have Seth Rollins versus Jey Uso. I think here Seth would go on over Jey. I feel like that's the way it would go. I don't know. Then we got Obafemi versus Seth Rollins in the final. And I think it's really a no-brainer that Oba is your 2026 King of the Ring. Now we move over to Queen of the Ring. Interesting person in this first match. Our Women's World Champion fighting in a tournament to challenge against her own title. So, yeah, that's pretty interesting. We've got Liv Morgan versus Becky Lynch versus Alexa Bliss versus Chelsea Green. I could honestly see Liv going through, as much as I don't think it makes sense and don't really want her to because she is the champion. I have nothing against Liv. She's just the champion. And I want to see someone get a title shot and not the person with the title win. But I feel like she will go through here. I do think Alexa Bliss should go through. But for the sake of saying what I think is probably going to happen, I've got to say Liv Morgan takes the win here. Then we have Sol Ruca versus Lyra Valkyria versus Charlotte Flair and versus Jade Cargill. I've been tossing up with this one a lot because I believe we could see Charlotte and Jade get distracted with each other, potentially, and trying to just take each other out, that they don't even go for the win in this match. I do feel like that would be a bit silly, though. And I gotta say Charlotte moves on here. And then we have Roxanne Perez versus Io Sky versus Julia versus Lash Legend. It's going to be close between Io and Roxanne, but I think Io is probably going to take it. Then we get Bayley versus Raquel Rodriguez versus JC Jane versus Kiana James. I think Bayley takes it here, no doubt. JC could sneak in, though. Then we have Liv Morgan versus Charlotte Flair. I gotta say once again, and it's really shocking me how many times I'm going to say this, Liv Morgan moves on to the finals. Then we have Io Sky versus Bayley. Io has a lot, but seeing her versus Liv Morgan again, I don't really think that'll happen. I think it's time for a Bayley push, and Bayley moves on to the finals. And then in the finals, Liv Morgan versus Bayley. This is really interesting because with Liv in the finals, you would be getting basically a preview of what's going to happen at SummerSlam. And I think that's really the way it's going to go. And Bayley takes the win in the finals. So, yeah, really excited for this year's King and Queen of the Ring tournaments. Should be interesting. They all start on Monday Night Raw. So, going to be fun.